Hey guys, so today the buzz around the brand diverse is regarding the brand called Honeypot. The lovers of Honeypot seem to be a little up in arms because they believe that the brand has been sold and the CEO is keeping quiet. So let's talk about what that means here on this episode of the Brand and Hopeful Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to the Brand and Hustle Podcast, the no fluff, no bull broadcast for busy entrepreneurs who need fast, effective business strategies. Get ready to build your business, your brand, and your bank account with Master Brand Coach Jay Stone.
Okay, guys, so if you don't know what Honeypot is, just a quick overview. It is a plant-based feminine care line founded by an African-American, Beatrice Dixon is the founder. So now she became she went viral because her products were featured in a Target commercial, and this was back in 2020. And she said that she wants the next Black girl who has a great idea to have an opportunity. Well, because she said that, she and Target were accused of being racist. And then they proceeded to go on all these review sites, Trustpilot and things like that. And the trolls started to basically put negative reviews. Now, there was no evidence that people who had made this purchase, people who were writing these reviews had made a purchase. So, of course, Black Girl Magic and the universe kind of jumped in and started to defend her, and her sales not only shot up by 30%, these people also started to make positive reviews to offset the negativity. And so they basically defended the brand. Okay. And so now there has been buzz that Honeypot has been sold. Okay. Honeypot has been sold. Now, Beatrice is not making any claims or any statements. However, in an interview a few years back, she said that her goal was to grow the brand to a certain point and sell it. So, but she's not speaking, so people don't know if it's been sold, but they are concerned because it appears that the ingredients have changed, meaning it's no longer plant-based, and that is what all the buzz is about. And in the midst of that, Beatrice is quiet. Okay, Beatrice is quiet. So here's my breakdown on those kind of things. So having had a few clients who went from making a product themselves at home or in a very small shop, and then having to scale to grow and stay alive as a business, and go from, just a small shop to mass manufacturing. In order to mass manufacture, you have to have a very, very specific, detailed formula in order to get this product produced the exact same and get the exact same outcome every time. All right. So the formulation can be difficult if you're used to, eyeballing it or making minor adjustments or only doing a few bottles. The bigger the batch, right, the more it has to be formulated to come out perfect. So if you're doing a batch and there's only 10 bottles, no problem, you can make that. But if you've got to do 10,000 bottles and the batch has to be as big, right, the calculations may have to shift here and there just for them to come out properly. So that can be tricky. The other thing is, as you mass produce, you're talking about shipping and shelf life. So if you're going to ship a pallet, which is, those big old, really huge pallets, the pallet will be shipped in conditions that you can't always control, meaning it could be hot in the pallet in the truck. It could be, too cold. So natural or plant-based products tend to be more volatile when they're not stored at a, even temperature, either hot, cold, or whatever the temperature requires. So that can be a factor. So as a result, some people, to stabilize their products, have had to add some sort of preservative. Now, there are natural preservatives that work, But again, if the conditions are extreme, even the natural preservatives don't necessarily work. And again, I've had some experience with clients with natural products and scaling. Okay. And so those are some things that may require the product to have a little bit of change or a little bit of shift in small batches versus large batches. And so the other thing that we have here is that whether or not it's been sold, right? Whether or not the company has been sold. And the truth of the matter is, if Beatrice did sell the company, first, there's a few things that are great that matter about that. One, it's great because all of our goals should be, whether we have a product or service-based business, is to have an exit strategy. How are you going to sell the business? How are you going to close the business down? How are you going to, transition the business to, into a legacy business and pass it on to your next generation? We should have an exit strategy. So it would be great if she sold it. The other thing you guys have to think about is there's a tremendous amount of stress in growing a business, keeping it afloat, and things like that. And everybody doesn't want to live under this constant pressure and constant stress. So when you sell it to a bigger company, they take on all the finding the finances, growing the brand, storage, those kinds of things, right? And here is something else nobody else considers. A lot of times, people who sell their company to other people are committed to stay on as staff for a period of time just because they have subject matter expertise, they have relationships with the vendors, and they have relationships with their buyers. And so a lot of times they will stay on, in a marketing role or, interim CFO role or CEO, some sort of role. They stay on board to help with the growth and the transition. And during that, there is, listen to this, a non-disclosure. All right. So everybody's saying, Beatrice, why aren't you saying something? Right? Why aren't you saying something? And she may simply be limited with what she can say just because either she's an employee still in that transition or even if she's not, part of the contract for the payment may be that she cannot say she no longer owns the company. She cannot say that it's no longer. So there's some kind of gag clause in the purchase agreement, which also happens, right? So if she were to come out and say, hey, I no longer own this brand, it's no longer Black owned, or it's no longer natural products or anything like that, do you know how sales would tank for her? So the company who has purchased it, if it's true, right, would definitely be mindful of that and aware of that. And so here's the takeaway, okay? One, in order to scale, sometimes the formula does have to change, and that does mean it may shift a little bit away from the original natural ingredients that people wanted, but that is also the cost of doing business. Number two, if she did sell it, she may not be at liberty to say that she sold the company because of some sort of gag clause, or she's in an employee position, which she can't defame the brand. And then the third thing is we should all strive to have an exit strategy. You cannot sacrifice your legacy and your mindset. Your legacy and your peace of mind for the greater good. She came in, she created the product, she drew attention to it, she removed stigmas. That was her goal in life. And now if she sold, she had an opportunity to create a legacy, and she had to make a choice. We hope that the quality is the same. We hope that the ingredients are still natural. We hope that all is true for the Honeypot brand. But if it isn't, then sometimes this is just, you have to transition to your next big thing. So keep that in mind. Don't sacrifice your legacy, your long-term legacy, for the sake of the current brand. That's it for me. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Don't worry, there are more episodes of Brand and Hustle on the way. But if you can't wait to learn more badass business strategies, head on over to jaistone.com. That's JAISTONE.com. We'll see you next time.